Hi everyone, it's Cassie, the Young Teen Librarian at East Hampton Library. Today for our virtual Make It Take craft, I'm going to show you how to make artwork using a bubble painting technique. So it's really simple. I'm just going to roll my sleeves up. I do not want to get paint on my sleeves. But it is a really simple craft. All you will need will be some stiff paper, like watercolor paper or cardstock. I happen to have watercolor paper here. You will need water, assorted colors of acrylic paints, and dish soap. And then, of course, tools with that will be cups and straws. So this is a very simple craft. So I have 1 cup with water in it, because I'm going to be taking from this water and adding into these cups. So we have a total of 6 cups here, because we're going to have 6 paints. We have 6 colors of acrylic paint, and then we have our straws. So I'll set these straws aside. I'm just trying to smooth this table out. There we go. All right. We'll get our station ready. So we have our 6 cups. So for every single one of them, you're going to add a tablespoon of water. I'm going to add a tablespoon of water to each of these. Tablespoon of water in each of them, and then we are going to add a teaspoon of acrylic paints. So I have a red, an orange, a yellow, a green, a blue, and a purple. So we have our first one. We are going to add a tablespoon of that, and add that into. Now this is where you could take the straw. So this will be the straw for this one. Use the straw to scrape the paint out. And I also gave myself some paper towels to clean, because I do not want to mix the colors. So I want to make sure that I get, because I only have the one tablespoon, the one measure. So I want to make sure that I'm going to have a clean one, a clean measuring spoon for each color. So this is our next one. Wow, that was a big chunk of paint. So now our next one, we're going to add a tablespoon of this. Take our next straw, scrape it out. And our next color, we're going to do yellow. Now this is a starting point. So you start with a tablespoon of water, a tablespoon of a tablespoon of water, a teaspoon of acrylic paint, and then a big squirt of dish soap. So we haven't done the dish soap yet, but once you have everything and you have it all mixed, you should be able to test it out to make sure that it's going to work for your artwork. If it's not, then you would add a little bit more dish soap and some water, so that the bubbles are what you want them to be. Because the reason for the straw is, just like when we were kids and our parents yelled at us for blowing bubbles in like our milk or whatever at the table, you are going to be able to do that with this. You're going to be able to blow bubbles and get the bubbles as big as you can get them to come up to the top of the cup. And then once it's at the top of the cup, you would take your watercolor paper and just place, in other words, you would pop the bubble with the watercolor paper, and then it would, and then you would have the paint on the paper. That's why it is a bubble painting technique. So I'm going to continue with these. All right, so now we will add, let me just wipe up some of this excess paint that I had to wipe onto the tablecloth so that I don't put my arm in it. All right, so now we have our dish soap. Now, I wasn't able to get a smaller container than this, so hopefully this will not prove an issue. Now, you're supposed to do a big squirt of this, but because I know that this bottle is so big that a huge ton of it's gonna come out, and it's gonna be more than a squirt, I'm gonna try and measure it into this half tablespoon measure, and then put that in a little bit at a time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stir each of our concoctions, and as you can tell, it already is getting, it's already kind of getting bubbles in it by stirring it. And then by blowing it, we should hopefully get some really big bubbles that we can use. So I'm going to continue to stir these. So now what I will do is I will set aside the soap and everything, and I'm going to set aside these cups in color order. I kind of want to go with a, kind of a rainbow order. So we are going to start with red and then go to orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So now I have my watercolor paper over here, and we are going to test it out, and we're going to test out the first one to make sure it works. So you're going to blow into the thing just as if you were blowing bubbles into chocolate milk. Look at that. That is so cool. Oh, and then one more bubble to pop. So that is pretty much what we're going for. We're going for blowing bubbles so that you get big bubbles that come up to the top of the cup, and then you just place it on top of them and pop it onto the canvas. All right, so let us continue to do this with all the rest of the colors, and then we'll see what we've come up with towards the end. So far, this is what we have. That's all of our colors. We have a few white spots here, here, and here, so I want to try and get those with color. So now it's just a question of picking which colors really stood out and then reusing those. So I think the one that stood out the least is the yellow, so I'm going to use some more of the other colors. I think what I'm going to do, I actually really like the purple, so I'm going to use the purple and try and get it into this spot in between the green and the red. So there you go, that's it right there. And what's nice is if the color comes down and you're like, oh, that's not dark enough, you can always blow more bubbles and just keep layering on the bubble mixture to it. So I am going to set aside what I don't need anymore. Green again. Alright, so we're going to put these all over here, and then we're going to start with another color. So I'm going to try and get a little bit of red in this corner. Wow, that is so cool. I got it in the corner, so now we're going to do a green next to the orange. That's what it looks like so far. Just need to pop the bubbles. But what's cool is you can see the patterns of where the bubbles popped. It's really, really cool to see that. All right, we're going to do our orange. in this corner over here. And then once we're done, I will look at this middle part and figure out what I might want to put there. Okay, so there you go. Now, I think what I'm going to do some more green. I do kind of like the green, so we'll have, actually, maybe, you know what? I'm gonna end with the orange. That's what we're gonna do. Now this one's gonna be the trickiest because it's right in the middle. So let's see. I'm also gonna try a little bit of green right. Oh, you know what? I'm going to, because the purple that was over there kind of got covered up. I'm gonna add some more. So that is our end product. That is really cool looking. So that is a way to use the bubble painting technique to create artwork. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope it inspired you to create your own unique piece of artwork. So I hope that you all have a great rest of your day and that you all do well. Bye everyone.